Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. John Mason. I created a support community for people developing consciousness called Masters of the Journey. I'm also on the board of directors and supportive of the Tree of Life Sanctuary, which is in Whatcom County, and we have opened the Seekers Library. Today, I wanted to tell you a story about a learning process that's happened in my life, which I don't think is terribly uncommon in some version in most people's lives. I don't know exactly how you found your way to this video, but perhaps this will create some awareness or some insight and may help you to develop the wisdom from a life experience that seemed like a great challenge. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about something that was very important in my life. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. So you know that there is a difficulty, maybe even a trauma. I'm not alone in this world when I say I have lost people to cancer. Now, cancer may or may not be an issue for you. It may not ever affect your life. And maybe you've had a different kind of trauma, an accident, an injury, an illness, a loss. Something very dramatic may have occurred to you in your life. But I just want to use one of my life experiences as a teaching moment. So let me begin the story by saying, of the many people who I know are dealing with cancer, and the many people that perhaps have learned lessons or even been victims and died from their cancer experience. I know that this is more common than perhaps it could be or should be. All the progress we've made, it still invades our life. So the story is that I met my wife, Barbara, in 1978, and we were friends for about 5 years. In the early 1980s, we began to date. We lived together. We got married. She had a son by a previous marriage, and he became part of my life when he was 9 years of age. We had a son together in 1985, shortly, I would say shortly, a year and a half after we got married. My wife was a partner to me and in my life for more than 30 years. We were married almost 28 years. In 2003, near the end of 2003, after my wife had complained about some digestive disorders and talked to her doctor on many occasions, she eventually got some tests done, and her doctor basically released her to an OBGYN cancer specialist. At the first meeting with this OBGYN surgeon, she presented us directly after we had just sat down in front of her with the fact that my wife had ovarian cancer and she had less than 5 years to live. Now, it wasn't the best bedside manner. It wasn't polite. It was very traumatic for the both of us. And at that point, we are living with a death sentence, and we did everything we could to prolong her life to outlive the prognosis and perhaps to defeat the cancer that had happened. There were multiple surgeries, there were multiple chemotherapies. My wife was a nurse and she did a lot of research. We did everything that we could to change our lifestyle to give her the best chance. And she made it pretty far past that prognosis. She made it 8.5 years. And so in early 2012, the disease overwhelmed her. She had been in hospice and she died peacefully in our home. I don't think that I'm unique. I will tell you that even though this was challenging, difficult, painful, and like I said before, I would not wish this on anyone, it was also one of the most important learning experiences I've had in my life. It was something that gave me an opportunity to experience things that I never would have had. I learned how to be comfortable in hospitals. I learned how to argue or demand good care for my wife from the doctors, the nurses, the healthcare systems. I learned how to sleep overnight in a hospital to keep my wife company. The experience was one that any of those things are both traumatic and not particularly useful as a way of sharing them with you. But what was useful is that I learned empathy. I learned about things that I didn't know I needed to know and to learn. I even was able to use my life experience and coach or counsel a man that I met in Bellingham who had lost his wife to cancer. And the experience of going through that myself was useful for both of us as we interacted and supported and helped one another. I think that any traumatic situation that you survive, that you live through, becomes a learning opportunity. Yes, it's a distraction. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it takes you away from the things in your life that you most commonly do or even love to do. Maybe it prevents you from doing that. But it also gives you a chance to look at life differently, to look at it from a perspective that may change the direction or the focus, the path that you might take. And it may help you to use the time that you have left differently. In my case, and I emphasize this as an opportunity for anyone going through a challenge or a trauma, no matter what it is, to learn as much as you can. If you develop knowledge, wisdom from an experience like this, let it grow, let it percolate. Don't get stuck in it. If you can, avoid being traumatized by it. But definitely use it as a way to reach out and be of service to people that you come in contact with. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm not asking for anything from you other than be in the moment when you're in a difficult, challenging situation like this. Learn what you must from it and then be willing to share it. Other people need that support. Other people are so afraid of the unknown and what they have not had experience with. So you and your experience can be of great benefit to other people. It can prepare them if they ever go through it. It can support them if they are going through something similar. And it makes us human. It connects us. So I'm asking you to take whatever trauma you've had. After you get done wallowing in the upset, the anxiety, the fears, the healing, whatever it is, and then reach out to connect with other people, to share the wisdom from the experience of life that you've survived. It helps both sides of the equation. It helps you to process it, and it will help any witness to develop a perspective that they may not have ever thought to have. Let me finish by saying that we are never alone. We're all in this together, and reaching out and connecting with people or being a witness to support someone else's experience is a real act of service. Everything that happens in our lives, even the most difficult, challenging, seemingly negative things, are perfect because they are opportunities to learn, to grow, to experience, and then to take that wisdom and to be able to share it. Let me also say, you are a miracle. You are loved. And whether or not you feel entirely comfortable, whether you've been through a trauma, an accident, an illness, difficult experience, learn what you can, digest it, and find a way of taking that knowledge, that experience, and that wisdom and offering it as a service to someone else. So I want to thank you so much for your time and your attention. If this is important or appropriate, you might want to share this. If you'd like to more information regarding Tree of Life Sanctuary or Masters of the Journey, there will be some information and contact ways in the uh, content of this video, and you could look us up and perhaps even follow the links. But thank you for your time and your attention. Again, this is John Mason. Appreciate it. You are loved.